keys. Umpire state of mind.
It's properly wet out here on race morning, but I'm so psyched. In a weird, sick kind of way, I'm psyched about this horrible, shitty weather. Because guess what? It's another challenge to get over, and my competitive aspect is like, I can grind better through this weather better than my competitors. So I am super psyched about this freaking freezing cold, rainy morning for my first triathlon. Showing up on the field for my first ever triathlon was super exciting for me. It was just very cool to see all these professionals with their, aero bikes and cool gear. And I'm showing up as a guy that, as a kid, saw people that race, bike, run, and swim as professional athletes, people that are superheroes. And doing my own race, in that perspective, is like jarring for me. And very, very exciting. Hey, how you doing? Like I said, it doesn't fit me.
Huh?
Like I said, it doesn't fit me.
It's a little small.
It works, I'll make it work.
Luckily in this race it's not a huge thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then anytime I go over 10 miles, 20 miles or so, then the shoulder becomes an issue just because
Because it's way too small for you.
Exactly. But I'll have some fun. This is for my first one.
It'll be fun. Just stay warm.
Do I have to sign in anywhere?
As long as you checked in inside, you're good.
I picked up my packet yesterday, so I have to check in. Alright, thank you. So I scouted out the transition area the day before, so I knew exactly where my bike rack was going to be. But I didn't know how to get my bike on the rack because my seat post was too high, so I couldn't let it go underneath the rack and then hook around with the seat post like most people do. Instead, I ended up using the brake levers on my handlebars to hold it on going in head first, and that seemed to work fine. I hope this guy doesn't take my bike because he's got the same one. Good old Schwinn Volair 1300, is that the same? I'm not sure what this is. Volair 1300. I'm gonna take my bike. The race was hosted by the local YMCA, and we had a big gym for everyone to stay warm and get their gear ready. So I found a quiet little place in the back of the gym where I could get my gear set up and all my clothes ready and my transition stuff ready. I thought they needed a bib for something. They needed a bib for the chip pickup, not for the body marking. 418. Goes on the left ankle. But thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Are you running? Good luck.
Thank you. Trying to keep my seat a little dry. Not that it's gonna matter. Do that. Schwinn rack. Can you see anything? I don't think so. Schwinn rack options here. These guys are cold, rainy, wet. It's gonna be taken out. Stacked up in place here though.
For the land of the free and the home of the
So every 10 seconds somebody's gonna go, you will go at your assigned swim time. So you guys are gonna come out of the pool, you're gonna run to the lobby of the YMCA, you're gonna cut across the main entrance, you're gonna go between the finish line and the transition area, you're gonna run along this path, you're gonna enter the transition area on the far northern side, you're gonna run in, get your bike, go out and do the normal bike course. It is 10 miles. One turn at mile 2, a hard 135-degree uphill left-hand turn at mile 4, another turn at mile 6, and then all the way 4-mile tailwind all the way home. I promise we're gonna have a tailwind at some point today, but I really don't know when it will be. But again, when you guys are on a bike course, no drafting. We'll have USAT officials out there. We'll have a SAG vehicle driving around. If you guys get it flat out there, if we can't fix it real quick, we're gonna just bring you on back because we don't want you shivering on the side of the road. So we're just gonna have people roaming the course, looking for people that are having some troubles out there.
So everyone headed inside to go to the pool to see the professionals start their race. Nobody started at the same time, so we were very spread out in the start time, so much so that I was able to see the professionals start to finish doing their race before my race even got on the field.
2, 1, go.
Keep running. Run, Forrest, run. Probably next 10 minutes or something, right?
Alright, we got another runner hitting the course. It's number 15, Dan Schumann from Virginia Beach. Well done, Dan, the man Schumann. There's Madison Bergathan from Washington, D.C. Our first racer's going across the finish line. There he is. First female rocking across the finish line here in 2018.
So the first female runner was actually the girl who wiped out. And yeah, she was good and bloody, and she was bleeding bad after she stopped running too.
Gonna warm up, loosen up for the race. We got about 30 minutes before it starts. I might have a bike jacket. I'm borrowing a race jacket from some guy. After the transition area last second, so I don't have to wear that baggy football jacket.
Swim was a very big learning experience for me. I'm not a good swimmer to begin with. I've never raced in a swim before. This swim was very different than a normal pool swim. So the way it works is we basically zigzag the pool until we got to the other side. And you're doing that along with all the other competitors at the same time. So you have a direct line that you have to follow, but there's not much room to go around people. So the courtesy is you tap their toes, let them know that you want to pass them, and at the end of the wall, you can get around. Now Now I did that with a few people and they weren't letting me get past, so I had to kind of power through and go into the other lane, but there was a lot of people coming, so that was a bit difficult to do. Wind was horrible because I was completely winded and I didn't know what I was doing. But in retrospect, I mean, I did a better time than expected. I did 7:30. I was expecting to do around 8 minutes. And coming out of the pool, that was the hardest part because I was so out of oxygen. I became very, very dizzy. And so it was all I could do to use muscle memory in order to continue running into the transition area and do what I had to do.
All right. Woo! Back myself. That's good. On your right.
Doing the bike course was super fun. It was a challenge because it was so cold, wet, and rainy. But all in all, the rain wasn't too bad on my time. And the most difficult part was actually just getting around everyone because there were so many amateurs on the course. And I mean, I'm a competent biker, so all the professionals already had been on the course and they were off. So I was just surrounded by, you know, new guys and old guys and stuff like that. There was actually one guy that passed me, and I was able to pass him back.
Stomach's churning. Tight. Power through it.
The course was relatively flat, but there was some hills, and my gearing on my bike isn't that good, to the point where I was able to max out my gears, and I just had to kind of crouch down and lay on my top bar in order to get the most aerodynamic speed. And that's where I was actually able to catch up to a bunch of people, just being more aggressive on these corners and on the downhills.
Trying to keep pace with this guy on this aero bike. He's one of the few people that had a late start on swim time and has a good bike. I don't even feel my legs because it's so cold out. We were supposed to get snow today.
All in all, I was super happy with my performance on the bike, but my biggest mistake of the entire race was when I ate a Cliff Bar and did not give myself enough time to digest it before the run. Needless to say, my stomach was a complete mess and turning, and my run suffered from that.
That's Emily Riley from 70 years young, Big Bay, River TV.
We're running a long time. You have that bar.
The run really came down to being a grind, trying to sort out my stomach while pushing to keep going, because this is a sprint. I'm supposed to be going at a pretty decent pace, and I finished at a 7:10, which is relatively fast, but not record breaking for myself. At this point in the race, the field really started to thin out, and that was one of my biggest pet peeves about this race, is that I didn't get that competitive aspect where you're racing against people that are your performance level. I was just racing with a bunch of guys that were grouped in my swim time start. So I didn't get that competitive aspect. There was only one time where I was actually racing another individual besides for the time. And that was on the bike, the guy that passed me, and I was able to pass him back.
Alright, rocking the GoPro coming across the finish line. Sudlow from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Alright, that's North Carolina.
Good job.
Oh, no way.
And the results are in. Out of 500 competitors, I ranked about 135. Swim, I ranked 312 out of 500. Horrible swim time. However, other things I did okay. For one, the swim was better than expected. I was expecting 8 minutes, I did 7:38. Transition 1 was horrible. The pros do it in like 30 seconds. I took 5.5 minutes. Ridiculous. Anyway, I can work on that and make some time up. Okay, so my bike ranking was 94 overall. That's pretty good considering I don't have a bike that fits me, and this is my first triathlon. Transition 2, a minute 51 seconds, more respectable for a newbie. The pace on that is kind of disappointing. I did like a 7-8 pace, I think. Overall time, 1 hour and 9 minutes.
So that was my very first triathlon. Super happy with the result. It was faster than I was anticipating. At the same time, I know I can go a lot faster, so that potential that I see is very exciting.